So Thomas Jefferson, who did you buy the Louisiana Purchase from?
Well, it was from Napoleon Bonaparte. It costed around $15 million.
Oh, okay. So that's about $283 million today.
No, it's about $15 million. Actually, see, we're in 1803 April. So
Don't worry about that. Okay, continue.
Anyways, it was about 800,000 square miles. Rather
Really?
large.
Well, that is a large.
Yes, I figured I would build a condo there. No,
Okay.
it's good state now.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did you buy it?
I wanted to make the U.S. much larger. You know, Manifest Destiny is a very important piece of our nation, and buying Louisiana certainly helped with our westward expansion. Also, we won't have to worry about any foreigners in our country now. No, it's all America. All of North America is ours, and that's a very good thing. Also, I wanted to build the U.S. to become a more well-fit nation. You know. It just works better if it is all of one people. There's more unification. Also, I was worried that if there were other countries there, they might have malicious intentions towards our country, and it's better for us not to have to worry about that.
All right.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So explain the negotiations for the purchase.
Well, when I sent Robert Livingston and James Monroe to Paris to purchase New Orleans and a section of West Florida, Congress gave a price of $2 million for the purchase. Now, that's much more reasonable in my opinion, but France wasn't going to sell it for only $2 million. But the way we worked it out, it ended up including the Mississippi Valley as well, and that is very important for us as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. And the constitutionality of the purchase?
Well, I was actually astonished when I was presented with the details of the purpose. I had severe doubts whether it was constitutional or not. I mean, acquiring land through purchase, the Constitution doesn't actually address this. And I look at the Constitution through very literal standpoint. It is very important to do that, otherwise it could lose its power and its good intentions. But so I ended up having to ignore my party considerations, and I submitted the treaty to the Senate, where it was overwhelmingly ratified. So there was obviously no problem there.
Oh, okay. And you're a very strict person, right?
Well, I wouldn't call myself. Maybe yes.
Yes. That's all right. And finally, we're running out of time here. But what were the consequences and effects of the Louisiana Purchase?
Well, I consider the purchase as one of the greatest achievements of my presidency.
I agree.
I purchased it for less than 5 cents per acre. Now, 5 cents is not that much money if you think about it, especially for an entire acre. Also, it was one of the largest land deals in history. I mean, most land transitions, the land usually is transferred underneath a relatively thick layer of blood.
Yes.
But this was not necessary in this case, and that is very important for us to avoid another war. It was good for the abolitionists and slave owners because there was more space for them. Settlers had to take over land that was originally occupied by the Native Americans. That was a small problem. But it roughly doubled the size of the American territories, and that is always a good thing. And it brought us closer with France having a peaceful negotiation like this. And in conclusion, the Louisiana Purchase helped the U.S. accomplish our goals of the Manifest Destiny. And that is a piece that I really want to... I want to shine through my presidency. I want to be known as an advocate for Manifest Destiny.
All right, thank you for your time.
It was nice meeting you, sir.
You too.
So after the Louisiana Purchase, Jefferson hires 2 military veterans to go out to the unknown west and map out the terrain. Jefferson urges the two to make friends with the Indians along the way, realizing how powerful some of the tribes can be. On May 20th, 1804, William Clark and Meriwether Lewis set out with 48 men traveling by keelboats or canoes and made their way up the harsh Missouri. This group of brave men called themselves the Corps of Discovery. On August 2nd, Ottawa, Missouri Indians arrived at the camp of Corps of Discovery. These were the first Indians they had seen for 600 miles. Unfortunately, they were friendly. However, their luck ran out when they met the Sioux tribe. These Indians were known to be merciless and powerful. When the crew tried to make peace with the Indians were disgusted by their offerings. They even demanded a boat for passage, which nearly led to a bloody fight. They realized then that making peaceful relations with the Indians wasn't possible. No real fight broke out, however. The group managed to escape and made a fort by the Mandan River, where they spent the winter. We're talking below freezing temperatures, and on top of that, their food supplies diminished. Of course, they needed to hunt then to survive. They also traded with friendly Indians and repaired equipment during that time. The Indians shared information about the country west of Mandan. They hired Toussaint Charbonneau and Sacagawea as much-needed interpreters.
Will you accompany us on our journey?
Est-ce que tu voudrais aller avec nous?
Oui.
Yay. In May, Lewis and Clark came to a fork in the river.
We will set out south in the morning to the Rocky Mountains.
Well, look, Lewis, I think we should go north.
The Indians told us to go south to reach the falls, and that is where we will go.
We should heed their words, Clark. Let us check the southern parts.
It only confirmed that he was right and rejoined Clark. He returned with him. It's the Great Falls. They met the Shoshone Indians. They traded for horses that would later meet the past falls. But daily, the price would go up.
Did we just give them more?
The prices were unfair, but what could they do? They had to get past the Rockies. The horses were in bad condition, but they would suffice. Other than horses, they received valuable information on how to pass the Rocky Mountains. Near starvation, the groups lived off the meat of colts for a while before they met the Flathead Indians. From them, they bought more horses. Luckily, they met the Nez Perce tribe and traded for dried fish and roots. They passed villages where they met more friendly Indians that had piles of dried salmon. Clark estimated the amount to be 10,000 pounds a village. After resting up and getting more supplies, the explorers were eager to return home. Seizing the opportunity to leave, the snow was melting, they left in March. Soon after, they abandoned their boats and continued traveling.
My men and I will go to Yellowstone River. You and your men set out for the north along the Marias River.
On ground. On July 3rd, Lewis crossed the Continental Divide where he met Blackfeet Indians. Soon, a fight broke out and 2 Indians died. Clark wasn't lucky either. He and his men soon met the Crow tribe, known as horse thieves. Both sought to leave the area quickly. Well, this wasn't exactly an ideal reunion. However, the men were together once again nevertheless. They returned to the Mandan villages, where they bid farewell to Sacagawea and Toussaint. When Lewis was healed, they left for home.
Are you well enough to continue?
I'll be fine. Let us set out tomorrow.
Imagine being away for nearly 2 years to a vast
Yeah.
Many people had believed that the two had died along the way, but instead they returned to a glorious welcome.